I personally think it's been a very, very interesting year as far as Lhakar Diaries is concerned. It's gone beyond my expectations as far as providing a space for, young Tibetans to talk about things that we normally talk about, but we normally don't necessarily get a platform to talk about publicly with each other and across states and across borders. For me, it was really interesting in the sense that every week when I sat down to think about what I wanted to write or post on Lhakar Diaries, it made me always reflect on my week to see how many times Tibet came up and how many different ways I interpreted Tibet or even just being Tibetan. And the fact that it was so, because I had to think about it so much, I had so many things to talk about. And one of the things that came out most was the fact that trying to find Tibet in things that I do and things that I feel and things that I, try to interpret on a daily basis is very fluid in a sense. I mean, like, there are days, I could just wear my Tibetan shupa and feel very Tibetan, but then there are days where I didn't necessarily do anything specifically Tibetan, but it didn't necessarily mean I didn't have Tibet on my mind. And it helped that I was teaching a class on Tibet from my professor, Carol McGranahan, every week, and it happened to be on Wednesday. So I was actively engaging on Tibet or just being Tibetan either consciously. I was consciously talking about it and teaching it every Wednesday, but subconsciously also when I was thinking, there were a lot of things that I do and feel that aren't necessarily cultural expressions per se, but it did not mean that it didn't have Tibet in them that whole time, because being Tibetan is a full-time thing. You can't just necessarily turn it on and off. So for me, it was really interesting to really look at that. How many times a week did Tibet come up, or being Tibetan come up, that I thought about consciously or unconsciously, and trying to find a way to talk about it. So that's what I found most interesting about the space that Lhakar Diaries provided me as far as thinking about identity and culture in a very